All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel again. Thank y'all so much for coming over now. I've been getting a lot of people sending me stuff on Quincy Jones. I do know a little bit about a lot of the rumors and all the stuff that's alleged about him. Some people were calling him the Black Clive Davis. I know, what's his name? Professor, I forget his name. He had said some stuff about him. Jaguar said some stuff dealing with Tevin Campbell. So this video here says, I'm free. Tevin Campbell speaks up after Quincy Jones' death. There was a whole Tupac situation. So let's see. I'll see if anything in this video will surprise me. We ain't gonna waste no more time. Let's jump right into it.
But I've been talking a lot about it in a lot of the interviews that I've been doing lately, but he's the one that brought it up.
Quincy Jones brought in Fresh Prince. And his first movie was what? 6 Degrees of Separation.
Professor Griff, how could I forget my last name, Griffin? Professor Griff, yeah. Him. He said a lot of stuff.
But I've been talking a lot about it in a lot of the interviews that I've been doing lately, but he's the one that brought it up.
Quincy Jones brought in Fresh Prince. And his first movie was what? 6 Degrees of Separation. Tevin Campbell. His little sweet ass up and down Hollywood Boulevard.
How does a boy with a voice like that had the records that he had, that could have easily transformed into one of the greatest male vocals of all time, end up himself for drugs and change on Hollywood Boulevard?
Quincy Jones, the legend, the genius, but to some, a nightmare. With the world just hearing news of his passing, we're left wondering, how do those he left behind really feel?
He set up rings in Hollywood. And the people that he brought in, if y'all tell me if I'm lying, Quincy Jones brought in Fresh Prince.
For one singer, Quincy's death means more than just the end of an era. It might mean freedom. Tevin Campbell, the artist whose incredible talent at one time seemed bound to Quincy's vision, is finally speaking up.
You always fear that if somebody hooks up with Prince, will be hanging out of their pants or something like that, you know. But instead, Quincy dressed you, I think, or somebody who has a different influence.
Campbell's story with Quincy goes beyond music. It's a tale wrapped in secrecy, power struggles, and alleged exploitation. But now we might get a glimpse into how he truly feels with Quincy out of the picture. Did Quincy's iron grip push him to the edge? What dark truths is he finally ready to reveal? And just how much of Tevin's potential was buried under the weight of Quincy's control?
How does a boy with a voice like that had the records that he had, that could have easily transformed into one of the greatest male vocals of all time, end up himself for drugs and change on Hollywood Boulevard?
Quincy Jones wasn't just a legend, he was a gatekeeper. With an influence that touched icons like Michael Jackson, Will Smith, and Tevin Campbell, Quincy's fingerprints were everywhere. But for Campbell, the man who blessed him with stardom may also have been the same one who stifled his freedom.
What they're saying about Tevin Campbell, man, I remember when this dude, I was like, man, this dude, his singing seemed so effortless, man. But then you hear the stories about him being out there on Hollywood Boulevard. It just got crazy. It was like shocking, man. So that's what they say when a lot of times when they go through these things, they turn to drugs and stuff. I mean, it's been a lot of stories. I'm wondering if they're going to talk about Tupac in here.
Campbell burst onto the scene as a teenager. His voice was called a gift from the heavens. But as he rose under Quincy's wing, there was a shadow too. Those close to him said it felt like Quincy owned Tevin. His voice, his image, his future. Quincy's reputation for control was no secret. Many stars, even the biggest names in the industry, had felt the weight of Quincy's influence. But Tevin was young, impressionable, and, according to some, vulnerable. What started as mentorship quickly blurred into something else. You see, In early 2018, Quincy Jones caused quite a stir online after he revealed he was bi.
We had the city covered. We were baby gangsters. We had all the stores, working all the stores, steal boxes of honey, everything else. This during the war, in the 40s.
These revelations caused many internet users to flip the script and dig up perceived dirt on the legendary music producer.
I didn't know that he had actually said that. He didn't say it there. There's actually video of him saying that he came out saying he was bi. And again, let me just say this. I feel like I always got to say this because people get so confused. It's not about their sexual preference, who they choose to be with, sleep with. That's not the issue. It's the taking advantage of, drugging, promising people fame and all this type of stuff that they do. That's what I have to make clear, man. I feel like I got to say that in every video because people always got some comments to say.
One of the long-standing rumors that made rounds after the Vulture piece gained traction was that the Grammy-winning artist essayed R&B singer Tevin Campbell when Campbell was still a minor. Campbell, whom Jones called an underrated musician in the Vulture interview, took to Twitter to address the rumors after they began to resurface. Now I'm trending. Folks will really say some disgusting things, the Can We Talk singer said. Tevin was essayed by Quincy. Get the F out of here with the devil, he continued. Several laughing emojis accompanied the tweet. Elsewhere in the interview, Jones stated how the Beatles were the worst musicians in the world, that he dated Ivanka Trump years ago, and that Marlon Brando slept with other male entertainers such as James Baldwin and Richard Pryor.
Wait, what?
Tevin was once regarded as one of the best musical talents in the world, but having joined the industry as a minor, many people were out to take advantage of him, Quincy included. Campbell's follow-up collaboration would be with none other than Prince when he was just 15 for the top 15 Billboard Hot 100 Round and Round, peaking at number 3 R&B. By 18, there were only 3 voices allowed to vamp out in both ad-libs and in keys, higher than everyone else on 1994's Black Men United's sole charity single, You Will Know, written by D'Angelo, and they were Stokely Williams, Brian McKnight, and an 18-year-old Tevin Campbell on a song that included everyone from Usher and Gerald Levert to El DeBarge and Lenny Kravitz. This was the level of company Tevin Campbell was not only keeping but holding his own with, smiling confidently and shimmering with ingenue talent until everything fell apart.
I saw you steady and I started.
With a 4.5 octave range, young Campbell was often referred to as the male Whitney Houston of his day by those who closely studied vocal technique. He had so clearly researched Houston's approach to the song, right down to her riffs, runs, and builds, that his altino countertenor on Alan and Marilyn Bergman's 1992 Quincy Jones's produced one song off of the official Olympics Barcelona Gold album, so completely followed the 1988 blueprint for One Moment in Time that one could be for.
I'm glad they're going into like his history, because it may be some people who don't know who he is but know who Quincy Jones is. Yeah, man, he was one of those big like what ifs. When you think about all the male singers out there, like these really, really good singers, people like, who was that? Got a really good voice, like a Brian McKnight, Joe, just all of those singers, man. He was, supposed to be, it's just crazy. But I'm glad it's like they're giving him his flowers, man. But I'm pretty sure it was a lot he wanted to say, but he couldn't. He couldn't come out and say, because I'm pretty sure they were probably, threatening him or whatever.
Given for believing the song was Whitney's. She would go on to perform it live repeatedly for presidents and in concert thereafter. Campbell would be called to slay Whitney's style again at age 20 on the 1996 Olympic album for The Impossible Dream. Of the 5 Grammy nominations he'd received before his 20th birthday, Campbell lost to the likes of Luther Vandross, Al Jarreau, Ray Charles, Babyface, and Peak Boys to Men. That's the level of artistic competition he was considered in the company of in 1991 1993, and 1995, respectively. In addition to selling over 3 million albums during this run, Campbell acted in sitcoms and cop shows, alongside such talents as Will Smith and Brandy. Meanwhile, it seems Campbell was not the only one who had passed through the alleged essaying hands of Quincy Jones. Will Smith is another person alleged to have been essayed by Quincy.
So Benny walks me in and introduced me to Quincy. I'm like, hey Q, what's up, man? He's like, hey man, I saw your music videos. I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. Tell me your rap name again.
If you are new to this, then allow me to bring you up to speed. Quincy, Campbell, and Will Smith were all involved in a S-chain revolving around the legendary music producer. A few months ago, celebrated actor Will Smith revealed that he lied to Quincy Jones about being able to act in order to get The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The NBC sitcom ran for 6 seasons, from 1990 to 1996, providing the necessary boost Smith needed to get his film career going. With its humorous take on the fish out of water trope and its incorporation of real-world events taking place within America at that time, The Fresh Prince stood out among its competitors.
Quincy ordering other people's lawyers around. Like, that's his lawyer, Quincy. Leave that man alone.
Fans of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air may have been treated to plenty of behind-the-scenes stories during the 2021 reunion special, but Smith shared a little anecdote that not many people know about. In 2023, while speaking with CBS Mornings about his Fresh Prince days, the actor revealed that when the show's executive producer, Quincy Jones, asked him if he could act, he lied and said yes. At the time, Smith's entertainment industry experience had been restricted to performing as a rapper alongside DJ Jazzy Jeff. But as the veteran star explained, it's best to say yes when asked if you can do something, even if you can't. I think it's important, as a rule, if someone asks you if you can do something, always say yes, even if you can't. Quincy Jones wants to have an audition, right? And Michael Jackson was behind me, 48 million sold on Thriller, and Oprah was behind me on the other side, The Color Purple, and I'm sitting there, and, I look back at Michael, and he was like, what are you gonna do, Will? And it was like, just in that moment, Quincy was like, you're making a decision that's going to affect the rest of your life. And I was like, let's do it. But it was also around the same time that Campbell was topping the charts with the help of Quincy. But of course, a little favor to accompany the success. It is this kind of storied beginning that made Tevin Campbell fans go completely in on author and social influencer blogger Lovey Ajayi when she dared on August 16, 2018 to say the following. Someone suggested Tevin Campbell sing at Aretha's tribute. Under what rock did they pull that name from? And it wasn't just everyday fans that dragged Lovey so hard following the quip that Tevin Campbell trended on Twitter for days thereafter. Celebrities chimed in too. Director Ava DuVernay, among others, all came roaring to the defense of Campbell, publicly stating that she'd be booking Campbell on a forthcoming episode of Queen Sugar, just to learn about these disrespectful millennials. Reportedly, DuVernay has made good on that promise, and Campbell appeared on the show. For his part, Campbell, with the utmost of class, thanked his fans and, in the slyest bit of clap back, posted a picture of him young, bright, and beautiful, beaming with Aretha Franklin while subtly mentioning all the times he was in the Queen of Soul's company, making the prospect of him publicly honoring her not so far-fetched in either talent or relationship. In any case, the period of 1993 to 1995 for Campbell was so lit that despite the hardships he went through, it might be hard to fathom today. He was the opening act for Janet Jackson's Janet Tour, which would be akin to opening for Beyonce's Lemonade Tour for this generation. He had 3 top 5 R&B hits in a row from his multi-platinum album, I'm Ready album, including another #1 in Can We Talk. In fact, he'd have had 2 #1 with I'm Ready, were it not for R. Kelly's 12-week run with Bump and Grind at the top. For his releases between the ages 14 to 16, Campbell was in studios recording with the likes of Prince, Babyface, Al B. Sure, Daryl Simmons, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and Narada Michael Walden, all R&B pop and soul royalty in the production game. Homophobia would also prove to be the undoing of Campbell, beginning with the styling for the first single for the video for his 3rd album. 1996's Back to the World, the first to be executive produced by Campbell, and which featured production by Babyface, Stevie J, Jamie Jazz, Keith Crouch, Sean Puffy Combs, and Chucky Thompson. It only went gold after...
Again, man, when you see these names pop up, like seeing Stevie J and Diddy name pop up, oh man, it's all connected, y'all. It really is. It really, really, really is. You know, I know they're talking a lot about Tevin. But I thought they were going to talk a little bit more about Quincy. Because for those of you who know, y'all know what all the stories are, man.
A run of pure platinum. By the time Campbell was arrested in 1999 at the age of 22 for soliciting oral S from an undercover cop, and followed it with a disastrous forced outing interview with Jamie Foster Brown in Sister to Sister magazine in 2003, Campbell's career as an A-lister had already come to a close. Anyway, several other people have spoken up about Quincy's alleged wayward ways. A conspiracy theorist by the name Professor Griff wasn't afraid to call out Quincy for being...
I hate when they call people that. Conspiracy theory, man. These people who be on the inside and have a lot of information, you know, and they were calling Jaguar that, you know, and look at everything now. Let's see what he says.
Part of various Hollywood-esque rings.
He set up in Hollywood. And the people that he brought in, if y'all tell me if I'm lying, Quincy Jones brought in Fresh Prince.
What's more, there are claims that Quincy once made advances towards Tupac Shakur.
There it is.
If you can recall, there was an interview with Tupac where he discussed Quincy Jones' purported SS advances. Supposedly, in that interview, Tupac disclosed that Quincy had propositioned him, suggesting an intimate encounter. Strangely, this interview has allegedly mysteriously disappeared from the internet, leaving many to wonder if Quincy's considerable clout played a role in its removal. Given Tupac's absence to confirm the authenticity of the audio, it appears Quincy may have distanced himself from any such allegations. Even Tupac's friend, Napoleon, when confronted with rumors of a relationship between Tupac and Quincy, vehemently denied them in an interview and staunchly defended Jones.
Yeah, I think these definitely, them rumors about Quincy Jones and all that crazy stuff about Pac was definitely rumors. Pac was about to marry his daughter.
But despite many attempts to conceal the interview, some fans claim to still remember to this day each and every word of the Tupac interview.
Yeah.
One person actually commented on it saying, "I heard the audio of Tupac saying that about Quincy with my own ears about 10 years ago. Quincy is or was the key holder to the black music industry. Anyone at the top level had gotten there by partaking in his parties." But this is not the first time Tupac expressed his frustration on Quincy about his nasty actions. Back in the day, in an interview, Tupac lashed out on a lot of associates and made some daring remarks about them.
When I was shot 5 times in jail for a crime I didn't commit, while every other black person, whoever they was babies.
Could it be that insinuations were being made about Quincy Jones as a figure who might have exerted influence to have his own preferences realized by others? Such conjectures are not entirely unfounded, especially when examining the close relationship between Quincy and Tupac during the latter's career. This proximity might have been viewed by some as an opportunity for Quincy to make advances towards Tupac. Their bond had deepened to the point where Tupac was allegedly contemplating a move from Death Row Records to Quincy's record label. One intriguing revelation came from none other than Keisha Cole, who shared a revealing anecdote about the night Tupac met his untimely demise. During an episode of Fat Joe's Instagram series, Cole unveiled an interesting detail. It turns out that just before his tragic demise in 1996, Tupac had been harboring intentions of leaving Death Row Records and signing with Quincy Jones's music company, a piece of information Keisha Cole disclosed. In one episode of Fat Joe's Instagram Live series, Cole recounted how MC Hammer had initially introduced her to Death Row Records, where she had the chance to encounter both Tupac and Suge Knight, the label's co-founders. Astonishingly, on the very day Tupac met his untimely end, he had made the decision to sever ties with Death Row in favor of joining forces with Quincy Jones's label. He had even extended an invitation to Keisha Cole to accompany him on this musical journey. Tragically, it was on that fateful day in Las Vegas when Tupac was shot, forever altering the course of music history. Adding more layers to this intriguing narrative, it's worth mentioning that some months prior to his untimely demise, Tupac was rumored to have started a romantic relationship with Quincy Jones's daughter, Kidada Jones. Some speculated that this relationship was a response to perceived advances made by the music mogul himself. In any case, Quincy Jones's death has sent waves through the music world, but for Tevin Campbell, it's personal. It's the end of an era, but maybe also the beginning of his own. Now, with the chance to finally tell his own story, will Tevin Campbell reveal the true cost of Quincy's mentorship? Or will he choose to let the past rest and build something new on his own terms? Only time will tell. Anyway, that's it for...
You know, what they were saying that Keisha Cole had said about Tupac, you know, allegedly wanting to leave Death Row and go with Quincy Jones. Yeah, that's what she said, right? That just reminded me of when they said Biggie possibly, allegedly wanted to leave Bad Boy. You got to remember, a lot of these artists, they don't own the rights to their music, and that a lot of these labels make more money off of them when they're gone. You know, it's like they career take off, they're at the top of their career, boom, then they gone. And then all of a sudden, like, people got so used to their music, they loved it, they just was like, you know, all the stuff they were doing, playing their music in clubs, parties, all this stuff, and then all of a sudden they're gone. It's like people gonna play it twice as more. These labels know this. But yeah, man, I mean, you can go look it up, man. It's so much stuff on Quincy Jones. So much stuff. You know. I mean, he was not 91 years old, and you know, I'm just thinking about all the people who have possibly been affected in a negative way, never said anything because maybe they you know, they careers, like some people, again, some people are willing to you know, do whatever they're asking them to do for that career. You know, some people are. Like, think about it. If this is what a lot of these people are into, like all these higher ups, and you look at all these artists who have these deals and these careers, man, that means that they bought into it. You know, I mean, you got your independent artists, you got your artists that aren't that famous, but I'm talking about the ones that are selling out arenas. All right, peace out.